Hey Flosstube, you have found a nurse and her needle. My name is Leslie and this is my very first Flosstube. I really wanted to start it out with a mid-year WIP parade as I wanted to go through and figure out all the projects that I had going on. I've really enjoyed watching some WIP parades this July from a lot of people. I think I've watched Rogue Mama Stitcher as well as Sarah Stitchy Reads, and I'll take a few others as well in the comments, some other ones that I've watched as well. So really enjoyed them. I've been watching Flosstube for a while now and have really wanted to do this. So just a little background on me. I'll make this quick and then we'll get into what you came here for, which is the WIPs. I live in Wisconsin with my husband and 3 dogs. We are a bulldog family, so we have 2 Old English bulldogs and 1 French bulldog, Lucy, Trudy, and Bill. So you may see a photo of them come up from time to time. I work as a nurse and we have traveled a little bit throughout our careers, but really are born and raised in Wisconsin and really love it here. I have been stitching probably since I've been about 9 years old. My mom taught me right up in that little corner. You can see that little tiny pillow. That was actually my first cross stitch I ever completed and turned it into a little pillow. And so took a little bit of a break from stitching for a while. And then like many stitchers, really got into it again over COVID. And so I really found linen, found that you could change the fabric, change the colors, all sorts of things. So I think you'll see that as we progress through the WIPs today that, you know, as a stitcher, you kind of fall into what you enjoy and you realize you don't have to do everything like the pattern says and you can play around with it a little bit. So we're gonna get right into the WIPs. I do like pretty much like a lot of the same designers, but I feel like I've been kind of stretching myself in terms of styles and things like that, and counts of linen and whatnot over these last few years. So we will get right in. All right, so the first one I have, and I apologize, there may be some zippers, but I did try to open everything up and I did give everything an iron for you. So the first one that we have, I know I've seen this a million times, but is A Stitcher's Garden by Tiny Modernist. So these are the beautiful and fun flosses. They are a tangled mess right now, but they are so fun, especially this teal color. I think it's called Isla Morada. I think that's what it is. Super fun. So I'm stitching this one. This is on a 32 count Hawthorn by Needle and Flax, and I'm doing this 2/2 and it's with all the called floors. And this is where I'm at. So really got into it, wanted to get the main part of that stitching done right away, and now just onto some of the smaller motifs. Okay, we're back. I just wanted to grab a board just to make this a little bit easier. So again, that is A Stitcher's Garden by Tiny Modernist, and it is on a 32 count Hawthorn. It's hard to pick up in this light, but it kind of has a little bit of a pinky color to it, a little bit of a pinkish undertone. It's been super fun to stitch. Like I said, I kind of just hit it kind of hard right away, and so I've kind of taken a break from it for a little bit. All right, I'm gonna set all that aside. I'm sure I will have a mess to clean up here in a little bit. All right, the next one, I know a lot of people are doing this. I originally started this as part of a stitch along or a sal with Lala D Stitches, and did not get very far. I was starting a different job at the time and just did not get super far on it. But this is Pollinators, or Praise of Pollinators, and Praise of Pollinators by the Blue Flower. I am doing this one with all of the called fors, and this is on the called for fabric as well. So this is 40 count Stormy Night by Zweigert. And that is where I've stopped. Super delicate and fun. It's been gorgeous. It's just not one that I can easily pick up and do just because of it being 40 count. It's not one that I can just readily grab or work on in the car, but I'm really enjoying it. I do need to get a little bit more caught up on it. Hindsight, I would have liked to have started on the outside, but I think, I can't remember if the first segment that came out might have started in the middle, and that's why I started that way. I was always a traditional middle start stitcher, but with some bigger samplers that you'll see in a little bit, I have gotten a little bit more of a upper left corner start, and that's been going good too. So In Praise of Pollinators by the Blue Flower, pretty popular piece. I know a lot of people are doing that or have finished it. I've seen some beautiful finishes as well. All right, and then the next one, again, also one that I have seen done quite a few times, one of my favorite designers, and that is Hello from Liz Matthews, and this is Quaker Pumpkins. So I started this as part of a sale, let's see, must have been last year now? No, 2 years ago. 2 years ago at a cross stitch retreat that is hosted by the Stitching Bee, which is out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And so I go to that every year with my mom. She's a stitcher as well. You probably saw that first photo in the intro video. And so I started this with a couple other people, Bridget and Laura. I think Laura actually finished hers. I don't think Bridget and I did. But I'm doing this on a 36 count Weeks Dye Works in the color Linen. And I'm doing a color conversion. So I'm doing this 1/2. And this is where I'm at. Sorry for the hanging thread. Oh, I wish this showed up a little bit better. So that first motif there, that is done in the called for color, but then this second one and this here, these I've been converting. I also am converting the black that's in here as well. So the black, which isn't showing up well, is supposed to be, I believe, gunmetal, but my gunmetal was very blue. I'm gonna adjust this lamp just a little bit. My gunmetal was very blue and I wanted more black. So I'm actually using Carriage Black on that one. And I believe that is Classic Colorworks. And then the colors that I've chosen, I'm still playing around with. So I haven't really fully decided on what I'm using on this one. So Bridget was so kind to gift me a couple of skeins of Lobster Claw by Classic Colorworks, which is super fun and bright. I haven't decided where I'm using it yet though. That second small pumpkin, I'm actually using Weeks Dye Works Fire. I love it. I wanted just a nice bright. And then I've just got a few other oranges. I really have not decided. I kind of collected basically all the oranges I could find in my stash. And there's the Carriage Black. And I haven't really decided what's going to be what yet. I did get a little bit stalled on this piece because I made an error somewhere in that small pumpkin and it took me forever to figure it out. Those of you that stitch Quakers know that it does not work to be off because of the symmetry. So it took me a while to find my error and fix it. And so it did go in timeout for a little bit. So that is Quaker Pumpkins by Hello from Liz Matthews. If you have any thoughts on the color conversion, I know Bridget is doing one. She's like doing like bright pinks and stuff like that. I haven't seen it. I'm hoping to see it at the retreat this year. But what I did see of it is gorgeous. All right. This next one is My Flowers by BoomerangStitches. And this one is on the iPad. I'm just gonna pull that up. Hopefully you won't get too much of a glare. So My Flowers by BoomerangStitches. I saw a few online. I'm trying to remember whose it was that I saw and started to stitch it. I don't remember if it was the museum stitcher that was stitching it. I can't remember. Somebody had started it and that's where I found it. So I'm stitching this on a 36 count. I believe it's 36, maybe 32. It's an unknown piece of fabric. I have no idea who the dyer is. I think I got this as a random cut in like a bundle I got off of a stash unloading. So I have absolutely no idea what color this is. I am using all the called fors, and I'm doing this 2/2, and it's got that nice puffed appearance. So I am assuming this is 36. I think that's what I wrote on the bag too. I think it's 36. Oh, I'm gonna have to work on lighting in this room. I apologize. It is about, what time is it here now? 6:19 at night, and we have no sun right now. So otherwise there'd be a little bit better light coming in. But I'm doing this with the called fors, and I just have that little bit started. That one's a little wrinkly. All right, the next one, oh, this one's so fun. I need to get back to this. I'm going to say that a lot. I apologize, this one is stuck in a piece of plastic. Okay. This is Cranberry Christmas by Artful Offerings. Super fun, giant red house. I love it. I love that it like has a border but doesn't have a border. Borders I have a love and hate relationship with. They're a lot. I love the way they look. I don't always love stitching them. So this is also on a piece of unknown fabric. I got this from Stitchville, USA before they went out of business, and I have no idea what it is, but it's a very loose linen. I think it might be like a week's or something. It's kind of got a little bit of a green undertone, which is not going to show up on camera, but that is where I'm at. Maybe I can turn it a little bit. So I am using all the called fors on this. That house with those stripes, it's so fun. So this was one I went out, one of my best friends lives out in Spokane, and I go out to visit her usually every year, if not more than once. And this I did on the flight there and back. So I had it all outlined, and then it was just a matter of doing all of these, I'm trying to fold it too bad, doing all of these lines. So it made it really easy. So I just did the fence. Let me go like that. There we go. So I did I had the fence done, and then did the, and the roof. This was all done first, was the roof and the top, and then did all the windows and everything. And then on the flight, I just went up and down with the different colors and filled in all those stripes. I am off on this tree. I think this tree is supposed to be one stitch down. So I did not want to take it all out. So I fudged it and I added one extra row to the base, but I still think it looks great. I love the colors. So that is Cranberry Christmas. I do have, when I talk about some plans, I do have another one by that designer that I would love to get going as well. All right. Oh, okay. So this one has one that I've started and one that I think is probably going to be a restart of something else. So the one that I've started is Beezy Spring, and that is by Cottage, I always say it wrong, Cottage Garden Samplings. And I am doing this was actually, I think this was a gift. I think it was Mother's Day gift from my husband, or a birthday. He came with me to my local LNS and we picked this out. I am doing this on a 40 count. Make sure I have it right. 40 count Silver Fox by Fiber on a Whim. And there's a string. It's what it is. Wish you could see that better. Try and bring it in a little. Get that out of there. There, maybe that's a little bit better. So that's where I'm at. So it's not a huge start. And the reason for that is because you see all of these like little white in between the little honeycombs. I accidentally did that as black and I had to rip it all out and then restart it as white. So it kind of got put on timeout. I'm doing this with mostly the called fors, but when I pulled the called fors based off the picture, how it had like this almost purpley color and the real bright orange, I didn't see that with the colors I pulled. So I did substitute a few things out. I can't remember which ones I subbed for. If you're interested, I can figure it out. But I subbed out, I put in Classic Colorworks Rip Your Float. That's kind of that purpley color. I'm not usually a floss bag person, but this one is in floss bags. And then Classic Colorworks Honeycomb and Colonial Copper for the yellow and orange. So a couple substitutions. Otherwise, everything is as called for. It's mostly DMC. I think the pattern only calls for one overdyed, so everything's mostly DMC. Okay, so this one, this was I saw somebody stitching it and I needed to stitch it, and that's about as far as I got. You're gonna laugh at how tiny this little start is. So this is, let me pull it up on the iPad here. I'm sure you've seen it. This is, I believe it's called Space Sky. I believe that's the title. Yeah, Space Sky, and this is by Una Buena Pieza. So it has all the stars, everything, all the little Martians. Super cute, fun pattern. I believe it was Lala D Stitches that started this, and I loved it. And I bought, oh, I bet I don't have which fabric it is. I'm gonna take a guess at this fabric. I think this is called, is this Shadow by Picture This Plus, maybe? I think it's Shadow. And you guys, that's it. I think 8 stitches total. I have tried to pick this up because I love the flosses. Look at this. It's gorgeous. I don't like stitching the pattern. It's so many just little bits here and there. And this fabric, it's beautiful. And I don't mind stitching on dark fabric, but I mean, it's hard to see, but it is a beast to work on. I think this is a 36 count. It feels like 40. It's tiny and it's a beast. So I think that one is probably gonna get UFO'd and taken apart, and I will use these beautiful floss for something else, but I don't think that is going to go any further. I think it's just what it is. Okay, we're moving right along. I will always apologize if you hear a bark or sounds like somebody has a dog fighting ring in their house. I promise you I don't. It is my dogs. Anybody who has bulldogs, you will understand. So this next one is by Sweet Wing Studio. This is called God is Good. Very much kind of reminds me of almost like a Quaker or a Carolyn Manning or something like that, with the repetitive pattern, but with like all the different colors. That is that. I picked that up at the retreat that I go to. I picked that up one year. The colors, the floss colors, guys, my flosses are a mess, but it's fine. They are gorgeous. They are just kind of pastel-y, but bright, super fun. So I am stitching this one on 40 count Fog, and I think it's either Picture This Plus or Fiber on a Whim. I think it's Picture This Plus. I already cut mine because I wanted to use the other piece for something else. And that is where we are. This is washing out. This fabric is so pretty. It just has the slightest little bit of modeling. Let's see if I can turn this a little bit just to make it a little bit better. See if that helps. It didn't. That's okay. We'll work on lighting. So that is God is Good. That's where I'm at. I have hanging threads. It's what it is. We'll bring it back. Okay. Like that one. It's one that once I start stitching it, I'm into it, but it takes a while to like get into it just because it is very tiny. Okay, next one. Now you're gonna notice a theme. I love bees, and I have a few on my arm sleeve here, look all the way up. But I love bees. My intent is to have like a bee wall. I've already done a few. I have one out on the piano called Chubby Bee by Jeanette Douglas, and I'm working on a bunch of bees. I need to finish one. I need to finish one bee at a time and just get it done. Speaking of that, next one is Autumn Bee, and this is by the Blue Flower. Adorable, love it. I'm too far to make a change that I would make on this, but I still love it. And I'll tell you what that is. So I'm stitching this on 40 count. Is it 40 count? I think it's 40 count, maybe 36. Spellbound by Needle Bling Designs. And this is with all the called for DMC, and I'm doing this 1/2. Those flowers, these ones, these were no joke. It's like a counting nightmare. I did like all the yellow and then just filled in, but it was a beast. So I love this fabric, love stitching on it. It's super great to stitch on. I want to get some more fabric by Needle Bling. I really like their stuff. What I would change. Okay, so on the pattern, let's see if I can bring that up again. Okay, on the pattern, you see like all the variegations like in the purple part of the body. Beautiful, right? So you see mine, no variegations. Hindsight, I probably wouldn't have bought the dinky dyes that are the called for. I probably would have found a similar overdyed, like cotton overdyed, and subbed it out. I haven't gotten to the wings yet, and I might actually do that for the wings because they have a really pretty variegation. So it's what it is, but I wish I would have just either gotten the dinky dyes for those or subbed it out for a cotton alternative. But that was still when I didn't realize you could just change your fabric. You could change your floss. I didn't know that. Okay. One of my favorite designers, as I'm sure many of you are a fan of her, Paulette Stewart. Plum Street Samplers. This is a shepherd's song. She's a big girl. She is, what's the stitch count? 285 by 178. So she ain't small. I love this chart. I've seen numerous people stitching it. I picked it up. It came in my 1, 2, 3 stitch order, and my husband saw it and he's like, oh, I love that. I'm like, cool. So of course I wanted to start stitching it right away because I was excited that he was excited about it. So I got the first page done. I kind of just nailed it out. This was actually a retreat start. So I started this at, I went this last May to Be Beautiful Sip and Stitchery. That was the first picture at the beginning of this video. And went there with my mom, and we went to Lois from Lady Dot Creates. She had a finishing school. So that was the retreat we went to, learned how to do some new finishing techniques. It was really good. And this was my retreat start. I only got very little started on it at the time, but I did finish the first page. I am on to and working my way through page 2. And everything on this is as called for because I loved it just like it was. I didn't want to change anything. So this is, I believe 36. Yes, 36 count hog bristle by Fox and Rabbit. And this is using, I think there's might be 1 DMC and the rest are overdyes. That is where I'm at. I love it. The border is super fun to do. Each of those flowers are like different colors. Actually, they look like they're the same. They're not. Different colors, different pinks. And yeah, so it's a little intense. Even that tree is like 3 different colors of green. So there can be a few color changes, but I do love it. This fabric, I have not worked with Fox and Rabbit before this. I hadn't stitched with any of their stuff. and I really love it. It's really nice. So she's a big girl. I don't think it'll take up this whole fat quarter. I might have like a little left for like a small, but she's going to take up most of it. And I wanted to give a good amount of border for framing because I will definitely probably get this one professionally framed once it's done. Whenever that is. I'm 40, so when I'm like 70, I'll frame it. No, I'll finish it before then. All right, so that is Shepherd's Song. Love it. Okay, we're getting there. I think my WIP count, I counted 35. So we are at number 10. So we're getting there, folks. The next one is on my iPad. I'm just going to pull up the photo here because I don't think I printed it out. Let's just make sure it's on here. Of course, I can't find it now. But hopefully, I just need to scroll a little bit and it'll pop up. It is not. Let's try this again. Okay, so that one is not coming up on my iPad. Let me see if I can just open Markup XP here quick. While that's loading, I will talk about it. So this one has a little bit of a backstory. So this pattern is called See You in Spring. And this is essentially, do I have a picture? Oh, there's no pictures. Oh, I'm so sad. Okay, well, I'm going to show you the black and white version, though it's not going to do it justice. But this is by MamaWitchCrossStitch or CrossStitch, and it is called See You in Spring. And it is similar to one of my absolute favorite books as a child, which is Frog and Toad. And so this is the black and, oh, is that chart? It's kind of a chart. I don't want to show the chart, but it's super hard to see on there. I don't think you'd be able to see anything. Okay, I'm going to hold it way back here. So it is Frog and Toad. And the colors, I have this in bags again, but the colors are super fun. Tons of greens, browns, super fun. And this is for my friend that I said it lives in Spokane. She and I refer to each other as our friend group, along with another person, as the Garbage Toads, because every time we go out, I go out and see her, we just watch horrible movies and eat takeout and eat all the gummy bears, and it's just great. And so this I wanted to start for her. You can't see it right now. Maybe you can. That's one of the tattoos for her. And so a little frog and toad on a bike. And so it's a special piece and I need to get working on it more. So this is where I'm at. This is on a 36 count Wren by Picture This Plus. This is a great fabric. I understand why it's always out of stock. And that is where I'm at. So that is his hand and then part of his Argyle. He has like an Argyle vest sweater. There, that lighting's a little bit better. So you can kind of see the modeling. So that's where I'm at. Not super far. It is definitely one that if you're gonna stitch, I would recommend using Markup XP because there is a lot of color variations within it and it would be really hard, I think, to do on an actual pattern. Okay, I am like on a roll here with these friend projects. So I actually have another one for the same friend. This is supposed to be her birthday gift. She knows about it, so even if she watched this, which I don't think she will, she wouldn't be surprised. But this is, pull this up here. I do have a picture of this one. This is Poisonous Plants by the WitchyStitcher. So at her house, she has a very like macabre style of decorating, but she actually has a poison garden. So she has a garden that's full of all these beautiful but deadly plants. And so I wanted to make her this for her office. So I'm stitching this on a 14 count black Aida. with the called for DMCs. And that is where I'm at. I love the back stitching with the names. It's so fun to do. So I've got 4 of these done, and I think, I'm trying to remember which one I'm on right now. I must be on, so this will be the edge of this border, and then I have 2 more to go on this side. The only thing I wish I would have done is I wish I would have washed this Aida better, because it is, like, if you can hear that, it is super stiff. It's kind of annoying to work with. Or I wish I would have traded it out for like an over dyed. I love the black. I think it's perfect, but I would change that. The colors are lovely. They're exactly what you see. Nothing really different, so. Okay, we're moving along. So I know a lot of people love project bags. I also love project bags. Unfortunately, project bags are expensive, as are most things in life right now. And I would rather spend my money on fabric and supplies and things like that than on project bags. You'll see coming up in a little bit, there's a few that I have made. Do not look too close. I am not a sewer by any means. I would love to be, but I'm not very good at it. Behind me, actually, so this is my craft room / dog kennels are in here. And there's a sewing machine behind me that my mother-in-law gave me, which is super nice of her, because she's a great quilter, but I am awful. Okay, this next one is Go Tell It on the Mountain by Heartstring Samplery. Love this, it's super cute. All that like white, I'm gonna call it like confetti because it kind of is, the snow. It makes the pattern, but it is so annoying to stitch. I'm doing this with all the called fors as well. You guys are in luck, I actually have these on floss drops. My favorite floss drops, Adam Hart. So those are all the called fors. They are beautiful. And I'm stitching this on the called for fabric, which is I don't remember if it's 36 or 40. It's one of the two. And it is Winter Wren by Picture This Plus. Now what I learned, so when I look at the photo, see how it's like more mottled and more gray? I learned, that a lot of people, there was a like gray version of Winter Wren and a brown version of Winter Wren. And it just kind of depended which dye lot you got. I got more of the brown one. So some of my brown doesn't pop as much as I'd like, but as I got into it more, I really enjoyed it. So that is where I'm at. I think I miscalculated. I gave this project a lot of wiggle room with border. I'm probably gonna have either wasted fabric or a lot of pieces for like a little small, because there's not much left. Like it's, like it probably comes to like here. So there's gonna be a lot of extra fabric. I do wanna do it kind of how they have it, like in the flat fold. I like that. I don't know where I'd put it, but it's a little too big for a pillow. But I'd like to finish that for Christmas this year. I'd like to have it up. I'm notorious for giving away my cross stitch. I do not keep a lot of them. I give a lot of them away. I've started to now keep them. So, okay. And that fabric is lovely to work on. I didn't think I'd like it with it being a little bit darker. Love it. Okay, this was, and I know I don't have dates of when I started stuff. Most of this stuff has been relatively new. I'd say within the last year and a half, 2 years probably. But I am coming up on some older ones that I've had there for a while and they need to be finished. One of those is Little House Needleworks Pumpkin Patch In. Super cute. I bought this from my L&S. This was all kitted up with the fabric and the floss. And so I bought this as a kit. Or maybe it was just the fabric. Might have been just the fabric. And so I bought this as a kit. And I probably started this in like 2021. But put it away, got distracted by other projects, didn't really touch it. And then I saw it again just a few weeks ago and I was like, I need to get going on this. And I got some good work on it. So I'm doing this on a 28 count. I have no idea fabric. I'm guessing it is the called for, which I think is, what's the called for in this? It's a 30 count parchment. So this is probably similar to that. I don't know what it is though, but I believe it is a 28 count. And that is where I'm at. I know, you're saying, Leslie, just finish it. I am saving it actually for the retreat because I figured this is all fill, right? This would be good to do at the retreat. That's where I'm at. It's super cute. It's fun. It's an easy stitch. So we're getting there. I do really like that one. I'd like to have that done for fall. That would be nice. Speaking of things I would like to have done for fall, this one has been sitting out here way too long. I probably got this one in 2021 as well, or close to. It was right around, I think it was when things were still, you know, COVID-y and restrictions and all that stuff. But this is Pumpkins Collection by Madame Chantilly. So this has, how many patterns are in this? 1, 2, 3. So this has all 3 patterns. Super cute, just fun pumpkins, right? Of course, I'm doing the big girl. And actually, it's fun to stitch. It's very satisfying because it's like you get to finish a pumpkin and feel like you've accomplished something. It's super cute. So that, sorry, that's not really centered, but that is where I'm at. So we're getting there. I have to finish up this little pumpkin down here, this little guy, and then he'll be done. It's super fun. And I'm just doing all the called fors on that, which is just DMC. Okay. Oh, one of my favorites. All right, super excited to show you guys these. Okay, so this one lives in a project bag, the first project bag made by yours truly. It's cute, right? We tried to quilt, it didn't happen, so we ignored the back. But it's super cute. This pattern was from, I purchased the pattern on how to make these bags online, and I thought she did a really good job. Stacy Lee Creations. I'll tag it below. But she has a tutorial for that you can buy offline, and there's a YouTube video as well on how to make these vinyl front project bags in a bunch of different sizes. Hindsight, I thought I would really, like, I love the look of the vinyl, but with the extra work it is, I think I would just assume make regular. But this is very like sturdy, like it's not going anywhere. It's nice. So what lives in here, you might ask? Well, that is what many people are stitching. Sorry for the bag. Which is Carriage House Sampling's Garden Sampler. You've seen this a million times. It's gorgeous. I am a gardener. I have 5 raised beds outside right now and pots everywhere and all sorts of veggies growing. So I love this. This was one I started actually this year on, I think it was the weekend that I planted the garden. I think that's when I did it. It seemed right. I am stitching this on, make sure I've got it right. Yes. Okay. 36 count eggshell by Fiber on a Whim. When I think of eggshell, I don't think of this color, but I love it and it's super fun and it's probably going to wash out on camera. But I'm also stitching this with the Vicki Clayton silks. They're beautiful. They're so soft. They're gorgeous. They just pop and they've just got that little bit of sheen. They are lovely. So like I said, I'm doing this on eggshell. This is probably going to wash out, but eggshell has like this lovely kind of like greenish, yellowish hue to it. I think I lost a clip. And it was perfect. I wanted something kind of in that like, I don't know, gardeny green color. Whoops. And that is where I'm at. So I know the colors are going to wash out, but oh, I love those. They're beautiful. Those leaves are no joke, but they're gorgeous. So we do them. So this is a bit of a bed sheet, but I'll probably be able to use the other half for something else. Another like long and skinny something. Okay, guys, we're almost done with the first pile. It's exciting. All right, what are we on? 16. So this was a retreat start last year. Bridget and I decided to do it, and I think she's doing hers. I think she did a conversion with sulkies, if I'm remembering right. I don't remember what she was going to stitch it on for fabric, but I think she did a sulky conversion. I bought the DMCs, was like, oh, I'll save some money. Looked at them on the fabric I had chose and hated it. And so then I went and bought the overdyes and have been much happier. I apologize, I have a needle on it because I've been working on it, though I don't have much done, sadly. This is Night Walk Down by the Blue Flower. Love that. It says Night Walk Down the Sky with the Moon in her hand. So, love that. And I am stitching this with the called for overdyes, and this is on 40 count Cocoa by Fiber on a Whim. I believe there's a Cocoa by Picture This Plus. I think this is the Fiber on a Whim one. I don't have the label on it, but it is like a purpley brown. It's perfect for this project. And the colors pop beautifully. So I just finished that flower and I work on the border a little bit at work because it's so repetitive. I don't even need the pattern. So I usually work on that on my lunch break. But I love this fabric. It's beautiful. I did do a fair amount of work on it and then had to take a break. All right. Next one is, I'm going to bring this one up on the iPad. So this one came out, this was 2020, and it came out by Sarcy Girl, and it is called the 2020 Pandemic Sampler. I've seen a lot of people stitch this. That border is so beautiful, but it's a border, man. But I love the little, what are they called, like bespoke? Bee something? The little bee hut, we're gonna call it, and a little fox. And then those two gigantic houses. Fantastic. Love this pattern. I'm stitching this with just the DMCs, which I'm going to bring these out. I don't have these on floss drops. I just have the skeins. But you have to kind of see them against the fabric I chose because it's beautiful. Okay. So I'm stitching this on a 40 count anthracite by Zweigart. And the call for fabric was one that she dyed herself, so I knew I wasn't going to get it to look like hers. So I tried to find something similar, and this is what my LNS had. So this is anthracite, and that is the tiniest start. Again, it's on 40 count. I think this is one of my first 40 count, but it's actually really nice to stitch with. And then look at like these. Like they just, I know I should have like all, but they just pop off of there. So it is super pretty. It's super fun. For some reason, this one, I think what keeps me working on it is I'm having difficulty with how this one loaded into Markup XP. And it's off, like the grid is off. And so it's not an easy one to just do. I should probably just print it out and just do it like old-fashioned by hand because Markup XP is not cooperating. Okay, next one is, so this is one that I picked up from my husband, and I need to do more work on this. This would actually probably not take a long time. I think the leaves on this project would take the longest, but it is by Putini, and it is called Quiet Place. Super simple. It comes with the when I bought the pattern. It came with the little sheep button. Love it. Like I said, this is just on DMC. And then this is, oh, I gotta figure out which way's up on this one. I think it's like this. I don't know. I don't think it matters. It's such a sad little start. And it's wrinkled. That's all I've got. That's like right before I think the tree like branches out maybe. Or maybe it's the base of the tree. I don't know. I'll have to look at what I marked off. I don't have much started on this, and my husband even kind of forgot about it. It's on, oh, I forgot to mention, it's on a 32 count light ash gray linen by Zweigart, and I believe I'm doing 2/2. Yes. I haven't been saying that. Typically if I'm doing 36 or 40 count, it's always 1/2. I've tried 2/2 on 36 count, didn't like it. And I think it depends on the fabric. There are some that are just tighter than others. But typically that's what I do. If it's 32 count, I'll go either way. We could go like shepherd's bush style and just do the 1/2 on 32. But if I want more of a pop, then I will do 2. Okay. Next is, you're gonna see a trend. I obviously really like Janine McGowan because we have another blue flower. This is Moggy Manor. I am blaming again Lala D Stitches for this one, but I loved this. It's just, and I love the phrase, a quiet hour beneath the trees, a little whispering lazy breeze, a perfect sky. I just love that. I wish I could figure out how to chart out the 2 cats and instead put like 2 dogs, just because we're dog people, but I will still chart it as cats. So I am doing this one on a 36 count raw linen, or natural, something like that. I have a hanging thread. I'm gonna try and get it out of the way. I'm not super far on this, but I'm happy with my progress. I didn't start it all that long ago. That's where we're at. So just a center start on this one, which I'm fine with, though I'm looking at like the colors of some things. I'm like, oh, I wish I would have started there. It's super fun though. The fabric is nice to work with. It's very easy to see, easy stitch. I need to get back to working on that. I've probably said that a few times now. Okay, this next one, I put in a lot of time on it. The first retreat I went to, which used to be held up in Door County. Those of you that were at the, who was it? Was it Farm Girl Dry Goods that had a retreat in Door County this year? Maybe? I think that's right. Maybe not Annabella. Who? I don't remember who it was. I didn't go. I would love to go, but you know, those things get kind of expensive sometimes. But the first year we did our retreat through the Stitching Bee, it used to be held up in, was it Ellison Bay? No, Bailey's Harbor. It was on the Michigan, Lake Michigan side of Door County. And then unfortunately that resort actually had a really big fire and they lost a lot. And so our retreat got moved from there to Wapaka, which is fine. I'm there for the stitching, but it was beautiful to go up to Door County. So this was one that I brought up there and I actually got a lot of work done on it, but I haven't really touched it since. This is Kind and Gentle Woodland Holiday Sampler, and that is by Artful Offerings. Take a drink here. So I am doing this one on the call for, which is a 32 count Silver Moon Zweigart. And I'm doing 1/2. So this one is more shepherd's bush style. It's so delicate and sweet. That sweater though, it's super cool, but wowza, a lot of strips. And I really like this fabric. It is really nice. But I'm also, okay, so my mom taught me how to cross stitch. But I went to, actually my current LNS was the store that taught me how to do it as well. And my mom was always a, you know, your backs have to look nice. So in case you're wondering, there's the back. This is why it probably takes me so long to stitch, people. Is because it has to be nice. There's the front. I have I've relaxed a little bit over the years, but I'm still a little anal. Okay, this I believe is my oldest WIP. So let me get it all set and then I'll bring up a picture. Let's see. Okay, let's see if I can find it. It's gonna be way down here. Hopefully I have a picture of it. So this one is called Temperature Tree, and this is by Stitching Mommy. When I first started stitching again, I saw a lot of people doing temperature trees, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. I love that. I want to do one. At the time, we lived up in Lake Tomahawk, Wisconsin. So those of you that are familiar with Wisconsin, Minocqua is one of the like vacation areas. It's beautiful. And we lived about just a few miles south of Minocqua. And I really wanted to do one. So I started doing it with all the temperatures for up there. And then we moved. Oh, there it is. Perfect. And then we moved. And then I didn't know whether or not I should keep working on it with like those. Oh, it's frozen. That's good. I didn't know if I should keep on working on it with those temperatures or if I should integrate new ones. Even though they're not all that different, I wasn't sure. So I've kind of stalled a little bit. So this is what it will look like when it's done, roughly. Hindsight, what I should have done is stitch the entire tree. And then all I would have had to do is go back and do leaves. But I didn't do that because I was super excited to get to the colors. So I didn't. So this is where I'm at. It is super fun. I'm just starting to get into the greens and yellows. So I have January, February, March, and I was working on April's branch. So I really don't put a lot of time into this one. I don't know if it'll ever get finished. I hope it will. It's super cool. It is on a 32 count Witchelt. No idea what color. It's like, it's probably not showing up real well, but it's kind of like a bluish. You can kind of see it bouncing off that white. It's kind of like a light tealy blue. It's a bit stiff, bit of a stiffer fabric, but it is very easy to work on to do 2/2 on. So, okay. And I'll show you, so there's different like floss setups that you can do depending on like whether you have like, you live in an area with extreme temps or not so extreme, but these are generally the colors. So super fun. I might have stolen a couple of those off for another project. I don't remember. Okay, we have finished the first stack. That's fantastic. Hopefully you're still with me. I don't want to make this one too long, so. Okay, our next one is, I gotta bring this one up on the iPad too. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have this one downloaded. I think I just printed it. So this is Merry Christmas, and this is by DureneJCrossStitch. Of course, I only have it printed in black and white. Unfortunately, I don't think, yeah, I only have it printed in black and white. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you, this is from way far away, but this is generally what it looks like. Can I see it? Okay. She has some really cute stuff out on Etsy, so go ahead and check her out. I do love this pattern. It's a very easy, user-friendly pattern, but just super whimsical and fun. I did notice that I got like a smudge or something on my linen, and I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna have to get like some stain remover on it. So this is on a 28 count Lugana. I think it's just, I don't know what color. It's a Lugana. And I'm using the called for DMC. There's some metallics, and this is 2/2. And that's where I'm at. So it's super cute. It's, like I said, it's very friendly to stitch on if you're like a newer stitcher. I feel like, you know, it's just, it adds enough elements of like fun without being like overly complex. So that is Merry Christmas. That is one of my older WIPs, I believe, as well. Okay. A newer one, while we're on the Christmas train, I actually realized I don't have a lot of Christmas ones, but that's because I give all my Christmas ones away. Though I did keep one last year. I kept October House Fiber Arts. I think that's it. I did their Merry Christmas one, and I did keep that, and I love that. So this one is, there it is. This was a Jingle Ball exclusive from last year. I think it'll be out this year, if it's not out already. And this is from Tiny Modernist, and it is Merry and Bright. Super fun. I love the colors. I loved the colors on that khaki, but I had a piece of Grace Notes Lugana that I wanted to try out. And so this is on a 32 count Seltzer Lugana from Grace Notes. It's showing up a little purpley on camera. It's actually much more of a lighter blue. And that's where I'm at. What I didn't realize, I've heard people say, I'm not typically a Lugana stitcher, that Luganas can be a little bit tighter on their weave. And that definitely proved to be true on this. And so doing 2/2 is a little tight, but I think it actually works for this because it gives it's a very full look to it, and I like it. So I'm going to continue with it. Beautiful fabric. I know they have a fabric of the month club. That might be one that I try out in the near future. Oh, and these are the flosses for that chart. Again, so fun, so bright, just awesome. And those are just DMCs. All right, trying to make sure my stack doesn't like fall. Okay, this next one, this was one that I got as my LNS was having like their tent sale that they do every year. I have a hanging thread again, guys. It's fine. And so I picked this up. It was a little kit that was on sale. And this is Secret Vegetable Garden by the Trilogy, which is, I believe, Bent Creek. So it came with all the DMCs and the fabric. And I have a very small start on it. It's on, it's 32 count summer khaki is what the fabric is. So I got the little garden hoe, and then I think it's like some sort of squash in the middle. Done. Okay. We already talked about one that I'm likely not going to continue with. I think this may be another one that I'm not going to continue with. I loved this when I saw it stitched in person. I kitted it up. I was at Lynn's of Madison, and I was with my mom, and I don't remember if they had the model or if I saw the model somewhere else. But this is a sampler story, and it is by the Sampler Company. The designs are by Brenda Keys. And that is the pattern, or the chart, all stitched. It has, I don't want to show you any, I'm going to try and cover this so you don't see it, but because I don't want to take all these out. But the flosses are gorgeous. It's just DMC, but they're beautiful and warm. And I'm stitching this on, sorry for the crinkling, that one is the most annoying one. I am stitching this on 28 count Vintage Country Mocha, 2/2. That's all I have done. It was a middle start. Hindsight, would not have done that. Would have been much easier to not do a middle start because the pattern doesn't make sense that way. That's all I have done. I don't really love it. I could use this piece of Vintage Country Mocha for like 5 smalls. So I may be abandoning this one and just ripping out what I've done and repurposing this fabric, because why not? I already did that. I actually had started Heartstring Samplery's His Eyes on the Sparrow. So it's kind of It's not like the companion piece to it, but it's kind of like one of like the, consider the lilies. It's one of the really big, you know, heritage type legacy pieces. I started it, hated it. I didn't like my fabric choice. I just didn't like stitching it. I started in the middle, which was stupid. I just ripped it out. I was like, nope, not happening. I cut that piece in half because I'm pretty sure I was doing it on 28 count. So I had like, I must have had a yard, maybe a half yard. It was a big piece of fabric. I cut it in half and I gave half to my mom and I said, here you go. Have some fun with a piece of fabric because I'm not going to do this piece anymore. I might do the same with this. That's what it is. Okay. Oh, everything just slid. Okay. Next we have is ABCs and Christmas Trees, and this is by JBW Designs. I got this, oh, actually I should show you the whole thing. I got this when I was up at, there it is, Stitchville in Minnesota when they were still open. Loved that shop. Very much miss that it's no longer. And I am stitching this on, let's see, 32 count unknown. So I think I went to my L&S and I was like, I don't know, I'm just looking for a piece of white. So it's white. And that's all I have. Flosses are gorgeous. All sorts, obviously they're a mess. All sorts of different greens, which are lovely. But I haven't gotten much farther on that one. You need like the right size hoop. I actually just got a small little Nurge hoop, and I think that'll be perfect to work on this over Christmas. It's very easy to work on with it being 32 count. So, okay. Oh, one of my favorite pieces. All right, super excited about this. Sorry for the bag. So this is one that I have actually not seen people stitch much on Flosstube, and I love it. And I just need to continue to work. What I need to do is I need to work my way up to the house and get that puppy outlined so that way I can just fill. But this is Christmas Tree Farm by Thistles. I love it. It's super fun. And I was really nervous because I saw that like a lot of people were having like having trouble finding the called for or whatever. I couldn't find it anywhere. And then I went to Lindsay Madison with my mom. My brother lives down in Madison, so we do frequent that shop quite a bit. And I found a random cut of the called for that works perfect and gave me like a 2.5 inch border. So this is on 32 count Sweeney Red by Dames of the Needle. I don't think it's hard to find anymore, but at that time it was. And I'm using all the overdyes and I'm doing 1/2. And that's where I'm at. So I need to go up, there's like 4 more, and then to do the house is up here. I'm off on one of these, oh, sorry, let's go this way. One of these trees is off slightly, but I think it's this one. Might need to be over 1 more. I was not gonna rip it out. I just let it be. I said that trees in nature aren't perfect, so neither is this one. So, but I really do love this chart. I worked on this at one of the retreats. I got quite a bit done until I realized I had the wrong color and I kind of got stopped. Okay, so I have a confession to make. I love Teresa Kogut. Love everything that woman creates. It's beautiful. I have yet to stitch anything by her, and I don't know why. But I started this one, and I'm going to restart it. And the reason being is I think I started I measured, but I think I need to go in like another 1/2 inch to 1 inch. I think I'm just too close on one edge, and I think once I get down to framing, I'm gonna regret it. So I'm not super far, so I'm thinking I'm gonna restart. So this is Folk Art Garden. And I picked this up at Beautiful Stitchery down in Roscoe, Illinois. I picked this up during the retreat. Lovely store if you live in Illinois. Wonderful. Her and her husband are wonderful, Brett and Chris. They are fantastic, and they have a lovely shop. I think it was, who was just there? Was it Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World? I think she was just there. So I am stitching this on, I didn't want to do the black, but I wanted dark. So I found a fabric that they had in the shop. It's a little different, but I love it. And this is 28 count Nevermore. And this is definitely a tighter 28 count. It's probably more like a 32. And this is by Atomic Ranch. And I am using all of the DMCs and overdyes. The only one I'm substituting, because they did not have it in stock, is I substituted collards for tarragon. So I love this. I love how it's looking. It's adorable. I'm a little close here, and I've got still quite a bit of ways to go. So I measured out my stitch area, and I think I just need to come like down just a little bit, just to give myself a little bit more margin. So I'm probably going to rip all that out and restart it, but that's okay. I love it though. The fabric, it takes a little getting used to. I do love it though. It's lovely fabric to stitch with. It's definitely one you need a good light for, and usually like a white pillowcase on my lap, but I really do love it. And it has that little bit of blue, so I think it's just kind of a little bit different, just different enough. Okay. Next, pretty popular piece, Autumn Quakers. You've all seen it, most likely. I am stitching this on the 28 count Vintage Country Mocha. I think I am anyways. And I am doing this with the called for Valdanis. Now, supposedly you're supposed to stitch Valdanis with all three. I don't know if this was just a tighter chunk of fabric, but I was really struggling to get three. So I'm doing it with two, which is a little bit different, and I know it's going to affect the variegation, but I think it's going okay so far. That's where I'm at. Not too much of a start. You should see my mom's start on this. If I ever have her around when I do a floss tube, I will have her bring that. That's where I'm at. And then I have one WIP that I need to talk about that I love. Oh, and these are the flosses, the Valdanis. So they come on that little spool that I love, but my mom has it right now because it is a team stitch. So I'll have to look and see if my photos synced, if I have a picture of it or not. Let me just look here really quick. I bet I have a picture of it. So like I said, oh, I do, awesome. Okay, so like I said, my mom and I do cross stitch. It's a fun thing we can, connect on. And I wanted to do something, just a fun like mother-daughter stitch, something we could trade back and forth. And so we are working on 324 by Works by ABC. And I handed it over to her at the retreat in May. I gave it to her with all the colors I had left. And this is where it was at when I gave it to her. So we are doing it on a 36 count Bramble by Picture This Plus. And hopefully she's gotten a little bit more done. So that is the first full page, I believe. And maybe just slightly into the second page. So technically 36 WIPs. Okay. This next one is Patchwork Hiver by Jardin Privé. Another Christmassy one. I am stitching this on 28 count. It says Tumblewood, but I think they mean Tumbleweed by Witchy. It was from Stitchville. I think they mean Tumbleweed because I looked up Tumblewood online. There wasn't anything, so I think it's Tumbleweed. I'm using all the called for DMC, but then I am also using, instead of, it called for, the variegated thread was called Valentine by Nina's Threads. I didn't have that. I didn't know where to get it at the time. So I chose, I think I'm using licorice, red licorice. I don't remember. I threw away the tag. This was before I was keeping track of this stuff, so. But that's where I'm at. I started doing all the little like kind of like the running stitch that goes in between, like all the little dashes, and then realized I was off. And so I had to rip it all out. So I just need to finish all the motifs first and then decide if I even want to do the dashes or if I just want to leave it. This fabric's really pretty though. It's kind of, I don't know if you can tell in there, it's kind of a greenish. It's very pretty. And I have a lot of space. I really gave myself a lot of border. I think I was nervous when I first started stitching. Okay, this one doesn't even have enough of a start to show, but I'm going to because it's technically a WIP. This is Pumpkin Thieves, and this is by Madame Chantilly. Another fun Halloween one, and then it also comes with that one as well. So this is on 32 count natural. Let me see if I know which way is up. I think it's like there. I think it's like that. Okay. I'm just gonna hold this one. There is not much done. Just that. And that orange is kind of washing out. But that's basically the tail of the big blimp. So that's where I'm at. There's really not much to show on that one. I should get back to working on it. It's one of those where it would be really good. What I need to do is probably outline the blimp and then just bring it somewhere to fill in. That would make the most sense. Guys, we're almost done. We're getting there, but we're getting to some of my favorites. Okay, this next one, I need to find the pattern. I think it's hiding in the bag. Yes, okay. This was a Christmas present from my mom. I think she had forgotten that I had already started Autumn Quakers and she had gotten me Autumn Quakers. And then what she decided to do is for Christmas is she's like, well, I want to stitch it. And so she took that and stitched it and then got me Summer Quakers, which I really wanted to do. I have a very pitiful start on this one. I am in love with the fabric. I will likely use this fabric, order it again for something else. What I will say though is it is a tight weave. So this is 28 count, which it does not stitch like a 28 count, but it's fine. Sprite by Picture This Plus. Actually, it's showing up pretty good. So it is kind of this mottled purpley lavender color. And I have just the tiniest start with the Valdanis. I am doing this one using 3 strands. But the fabric is beautiful. I love it. And those are the flosses. Gorgeous. I think my pile just shifted. Okay. Next, this one, my husband and I both agreed. I just need to finish it for fall. It needs to be done. I've been working on this one for a while. It's probably one of my older WIPs. This is Pumpkin Patch by Primrose Cottage. Oops. Super cute, super fun. Hindsight, I wished I would have bought the overdyed for the truck. The overdyed is supposed to be, I think it's Gentle Arts Green Pasture, and I just did the DMC, which is like 3816. Looks great, but I would have liked the variegations, but that's where I'm at. And this is on a, let's see, 28 count Mushroom Lugana. It's lovely to stitch on. It's like butter. Oops. So that's where we're at. This one really just needs to be done. I feel like that's a theme I'm saying. I have a few that are really close. So I think if I just spend some time on them, I could get them done. Okay. This next one was a piece that I started as a kind of remembrance piece. So this last year, myself and 10 of my high school friends that I'm still relatively close with. There's probably like 5 or 6 that I'm closest with, but we all took a trip to Sedona. And so we went on a girls trip to Sedona, Arizona, and it was beautiful. It was one of the most gorgeous places I've ever been. I will definitely be going back with my husband because it looks like something out of a magazine. Like it looks like you're driving into a green screen. It's just gorgeous. It's just completely different than anything, you know, that you're gonna see in Wisconsin. So I made a project bag for the event. I thought this one turned out super cute. Just some fabric I picked up from, I think, Hobby Lobby maybe. So that was the fabric bag, or the project bag. And then the pattern is, let me just pull it up here. Let's see. Sorry, it's taking a minute. This iPad is incredibly old and I'm just using it till it dies. This is Cactus Cat by Satsuma Street. Super fun and cute. I am using all the DMC and I am stitching this on 28 count Valor by Picture This Plus. There's some fuzzies on it. And that is where I'm at. It's looking much more gray in this. I know greens tend to wash out. It's much more like a sagey green. And then, like I said, just the DMCs. There are a lot of color changes in this, which probably makes it a little bit difficult to stitch on sometimes. But I do love it. The colors are just so fun. And then this is, it's a lot of flosses for this piece, but they are just gorgeous. Some of these I took off of a bobbin. I just pulled it out of stash and I have to laugh because they're like all wrinkled. And again, that's, yeah, 28 count Valor. Okay, guys, believe it or not, last one. And then I have one more project to show because I also do some crocheting as well. And then I've got a little bit of haul towards the end and a couple plans. And I can hear my dogs are starting to play WWE out there. So if you hear them, I apologize. This one is still in the hoop because I have been working on this. So this is Nature's Journey by Sprouting Lupine. This is one that's being released in parts through the Just Cross Stitch magazine. I have both the first 2 parts, but I just got behind because I didn't know what fabric I wanted to start it on and I kind of got stalled. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So this is the pattern. What's out right now anyways. Well, there's one more, but that's the spring one. So that's roughly what the pattern's gonna look like. And I am doing this on, I chose 40 count Saltbush by Fox and Rabbit. This is using all the DMCs, which I do not have organized. It's what it is. And I'm doing this 1/2, and that is where I'm at. It is beautiful. I love the way it's popping off of this fabric. This is a very, it's not super mottled. Maybe there's a little bit, but it's just a very pretty gray. At least mine is. I don't know. I've seen some Saltbush that look more green, but mine's more gray, and I really like that. So that is where that one's at. I have this one. Okay, so I went to the thrift the other day, and I found this. I think it is, it's a Vera Bradley. I think it is meant to be like a, traveling, maybe like a cosmetic case. I think they're supposed to be like another part because there's some little snaps. But, like, how perfect is this? Look, it even has a little hanger. So I think this is supposed to be for like cosmetics or something when you're traveling, but I think it is perfect as to store a WIP in. So that's what I'm using it for. All right, folks, that was all 36 WIPs. I have one more to show you that is not cross stitch. So if you are only interested in the cross stitch, you can fast forward or you can hang out for a minute. So I am stitching I'm crocheting. Let me see if I've got a better picture. There it is. Okay, so this pattern, I taught myself how to crochet with the help of a couple friends within the last year, and I really like it. I knit as well, but I'm not super fast at it. It does take me a while to knit, but I saw this pattern. This is from MJ's Off the Hook Designs. The pattern's available on Etsy, and this is the Snowy Season cardigan. And so this is what I'm working on. So that is what it'll look like. It is a short cardigan. The pattern actually comes with a short and a long version, so you can choose which one you want. And I'm doing this with the fabric, we're not in cross stitch land anymore. The yarn is called Speckled Cake Pop by Brava. I do not have it wound. And I work on this one a lot at work because it's super easy to pull out. It stitches actually in 2 pieces, which is kind of cool. So it's easy. But this is where I'm at. So this will be my sleeve. You can see there. It's super stretchy, soft. And then right now I'm working on kind of the body. So if you can kind of envision it, there's kind of the part of the bottom and there's my sleeve. So that's where I'm at. Super easy to do. Like I said, I am not a super skilled crocheter. This is just half double crochets, single crochets, and double crochets. That's it. Pattern's very easy to follow. It's been super fun. So I am working on that at lunch as well. It's kind of nice. I can usually get a few rows in. I don't work at the bedside as a nurse, so I'm not in scrubs or anything like that. I do work in quality, so I work on the like corporate side, which, you know, has its good things and bad things too. Okay, that is the last one. I'm just gonna grab my cart here. I went and I had gotten one of the carts. I got it from Michael's, but at the recommendation of a couple Flosstubers, I think the Museum Stitcher and who else? Seattle Stitcher maybe? They have these awesome carts, and so I picked one up and I love it. Okay, so a little bit of haul. So I used to be a part of the Fabric of the Month Club through Bestitch Me. Loved it. Great fabrics. I probably had been a part of it for about a year, and then just decided I wanted to kind of change it up. I was part of the 36 count, so I wanted just to change up my stash a little bit, and so I signed up for the Stitchy Box, Fiber on a Whim Collectors Club, and in 40 count. And the first one came, and this is Dusk by Fiber on a Whim. It's beautiful. It's showing up darker, I think, on camera than it is in person. It's a beautiful, almost like a light, like a denim-y cornflower blue. It's a gorgeous piece of fabric. I think what I'm going to stitch on this, and I don't have the pattern with me, maybe it's on here. I'm going to do a small for our cross stitch retreat coming up, and oh, I do have it. And the theme is patriotic, which isn't really my jam, but I love doing smalls. So I'm going to do this one. So Patriotic Matilda. Super cute. This is on Etsy by Finally a Farm Girl, I think. Yes, Finally a Farm Girl on Etsy. And I think I might do it on this. I have all the floss for it, minus like 1 or 2 colors. And I think it might work. I'm just worried about, like, I need to look at the gray and make sure that doesn't wash out, because that's for the blue will be fine, but I don't want the gray to wash out because that's the color of the mouse. So, but I might do that. And then I had picked up this pattern, and I think I finally found fabric that I want to do it for. So this is Honey Hill Hamlet. This is by Artful Offerings as well. You can see kind of the similarities to that Cranberry Manor or Cranberry Christmas. This was one of my last fabrics I had gotten from Bestitch Me, and I love it, and I think it's really pretty similar to the called for. So this is Willow from Bestitch Me. The called for is doubloon by Picture This Plus. But this is, I don't know, I like this. This is gorgeous. So I think I'm gonna work on getting that one. I'd love to get that one started, though I have plenty to keep me busy. So we'll see what happens. And then I have a friend that is expecting her first baby, and she knows about this, so if she sees it, it's not a big deal. But I'm going to be stitching her this one of the Kathy Barrick birth samplers. They're having a little girl, and so I'll be doing that one. And I think I'm going to be doing this on Crypt Cloth by Lap and Loops. It's not going to show up, I'm sure, but it is a beautiful, like it has this undertone of pink to it. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see it. Maybe a little bit there. It has this perfect little like pinky undertone, and with the floss, it's going to be gorgeous. So I do need to start on that. She's not due till the end of October, so I do have a little bit of time. And then the last one that I have recently kitted up that I would like to start, probably, it might be my retreat start for this fall's retreat. And that is Sleepy Hollow by Hello from Liz Matthews. I've had this chart for a while. And I picked up the DMCs. I think it's NPIs are the called fors. Yes, NPIs. But I just picked up the DMCs. And I picked up this fabric last year. I ordered it. It is Mystic Fabrics Pumpkin Vine. I don't think you can get it right now. I think it was a limited edition. But I want to do that like on this. That would just be fun. Just this bright, like limey green. I think it's a lot like Kermit or Kiwi. It's similar to that, but the modeling is so pretty on this. So that will likely be a start at some point. Yeah. I also was super excited. I'm gonna have to get up here and grab it. So one of my unicorn patterns is Witch's Hollow by the Primitive Needle. And many of you know it's been out of print for a long time, and they, you know, the designer had passed away. And so people, if they found it, they were selling it for like $200, you know, on these, online on the stash unloading sites. And so I always kept my eyes out for it. And I just recently found out that her daughter is choosing to digitalize all of her patterns. So of course I had to purchase it. So that is Witch's Hollow. Many of you, I'm pretty sure most of you have probably seen it, but I will bring up a photo on my iPad here. So this is Witch's Hollow by the Primitive Needle. Lovely pattern. I love it. I'm not a huge Halloween person, but I love this. And so I kitted it up with all the overdyes. Just super fun. Look at this green. What is this one? Spring grass. It's just electric. And the called for is a Lakeside Linens, which can be hard to find. I think it's ancient or antique pear. And I'm actually going to do this instead on a 36 count Regency by Picture This Plus. So it's hard to see in this, but it does have a little bit of a green, kind of a pukey green undertone, but I think it looks beautiful. So I don't have any time of when I'm going to start that, but I do have it set and ready to go for when the mood strikes. All right, well, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Thank you for just spending some time with me. This is just exciting to be able to share kind of my little corner of the internet, my little crafting life, and hopefully there will be more to come. So take care.